Are you taking a trip this year and want to know how to save even more money on your flight? Well, this is how I saved over $500 on my flight. I'm going to share those tips and tricks with you. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so this is what I did. I went to Google Flights. Now, Google Flights is my absolute favorite place to go when searching for flights because it brings all of the prices from around the web from the most reputable sources, not those little online travel agents that may or may not keep up with what they say they're going to do and might cause you more nightmares than it's worth. So Google Flights checks only the most reputable places, including the main airlines and the main online travel agencies like Expedia, Travelocity, and those type of things. So that's why they're my favorite. And 9 times out of 10, they bring back the best price available. Even when I've looked at all those little online travel agents, most of the time, Google Flights brings back the best price. So that is my number one step, is to definitely use Google Flights for your next flight research. So the flight that I was looking for was from my home airport, which is in Orange County, California. And I wanted to go to London, and Heathrow is the main airport there. And then for my dates, I wanted to go on July 30th. All right, so this is what I first come up with. When Google Flights searches flights, not only do they check the main airlines, but they check anything where you might have to switch airlines. Say, for instance, going United for part of the leg, SAS for part of another leg, maybe you're coming back on another airline. It really wants to find the perfect combination to find you the absolute cheapest price. So in my situation, the cheapest price it came up with is $13.36. Okay, this is how I saved over $500 on this vacation. The first thing I did is I wanted to be flexible on airports. So as I said, I am in Orange County, California, which is not necessarily a main hub like Los Angeles is, but Los Angeles is within driving distance. It would not be that much of a stretch for me to go there and fly out of there. I could also go out of Long Beach. I could go out of San Diego. I could go out of just about any of the airports that are in the Southern California area, because if I can save enough money, going to another airport is definitely worth the price. So is definitely worth the drive. So let me show you what I did. When you're in Google Flights, you can add as many departure airports as you want, as well as arrival airports that you want. So what I did is I added all of Los Angeles. You can simply type in the city and it'll bring up all of the airports in Los Angeles, including Burbank. And then I can also add, just to check the price, just to see if it's any better, is Long Beach. And I can also check San Diego. So I'm going to add all of those to my price check. Doing that alone already saved me some money, but I could take it a step further. I could do the same thing on my arrival. Yes, I want to go to London, but I don't necessarily have to go into Heathrow. I could fly into one of the other airports as well. So instead of just choosing Heathrow, I'm going to say all of London. And what that's going to do, let me show you here. If I say all of London, it automatically adds every London airport or every airport within a specific distance to London. So I can include that on my search. And by doing that, already you can see the price savings come down on your vacation. Now, I could take it a step further. Yes, I want to go to London, but I happen to know that if I were to look a little farther outside of London, as far as a rival airport, I might be able to save a bit more. Yes, it would involve me having to take a train or rent a car or somehow get to London eventually. But if I'm willing to expand my vacation, and maybe if I did fly you into a different city, include stops in that other city and make a journey out of it, turn my vacation into it, the extra money savings might be absolutely worth it. And in this case, I happen to know Dublin is often cheaper than London. So for our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and add that in as an option. I'm going to say Dublin Airport, and let's just see what it does. And already we saved, now we're down to $759. So already we've saved over $500 off of what the initial price came back as. So by being flexible on your airports, that is a very, very key way that you can save money on your flight. Let's go ahead and look at the next way you might be able to save money. And this one's more common, and that is to be flexible on your dates. Now, I love Google Flights because one of the things it has is this really cool date grid. So once you've chosen your flight, you can check on the date grid and it will bring up what prices are if you changed your dates even just slightly. So as you can see here, if I were to go a day earlier and come back a day earlier, I could bring the price down even further, another $100 to $654. Or if I wanted to go a little bit later, I could even bring it down to $629. Now, the dates that I've chosen are pretty solid. I can't really flex too much, but I can do a day earlier and a day earlier, both going and coming back. And so now I can save even more money, and I click this and then say okay. And then as you see, the lowest price here is going to pop up as $654. So now I have saved over $600, actually close to $700 on this flight that I had originally was going to be over $1,300. But there's another thing that I want to show you because it's absolutely key as well. And that begins here with track prices. So you may or may not know when you're buying a flight, there are good times to buy and not so good times to buy. There are times when flights are going to be a little bit more expensive and times when they're going to be a little bit cheaper. That window seems to be, if you book it too far in advance, prices are higher because there's not a demand for it yet. And so airlines can charge a little bit more. As you get a little bit closer, prices start to come down as they start to see the demand and start to compete on pricing a little bit more. And then there comes another wave as you get right before the trip where prices could either be really high or they could be really low if they're trying to fill seats. You never really know. So one of the coolest features you could have on Google Flights is this track prices feature. When I toggle this on, what it's going to do is track these dates for these airports and this destination, and it's going to email me anytime there's a change in price. Whether it's up or down, it's going to let me know if anything is changing. The other thing you can do, if you go into, let's just say we're doing this flight going, and let's just say we're doing this flight coming back. If you were to scroll down here, you see this graph, and this actually lets you know where it's at. So you can gauge, okay, should I buy it today or should I wait a little bit and let's just see if the price comes down. When you click here, you can see that right now, this $787 flight, because I just grabbed random flights, are typical for this time of year. When it is in the green and it says that it's low for this type of year, that's when you definitely want to buy. When it is typical to low, you've kind of got an option. But if you ever see it up here in red, unless you're really, really close to leaving, give it some time. Let the track prices email you when there's a time change, and then let's just see if that price comes down. If you are traveling this year, this video is going to give you some more information to help you save more money on your entire trip, not just your flight. And other than that, I can't wait to see you on our next video. Take care and happy travels. Bye-bye.